90-day YouTube live because I'm doing it on YouTube, and so is Heather. Video challenge. Every day we're going live to create a video, and I like to come on and just share a tip, a training, a strategy, a technique that will help you get more leverage with your videos. So today I want to talk about thumbnails. The last couple of days I switched and I expounded on things that Heather's been sharing because they're really, really powerful, and they're quick strategies and tips that you can use to get some traction right away. Well, nothing is going to get you more traction than having a great thumbnail, having a thumbnail at all. Now, I have been letting every platform that I actually do live video on just select my thumbnail by default. Not a good idea, because our thumbnail is like a headline. It's what stops people in their tracks and gets their attention. It gets them to even click on and watch our video to begin with. If we don't get them to click on our video to watch it, well, if they don't get them to click on it, they're never going to watch it. So we have to have something that will stop them in their tracks and make them want to watch our videos. So it's not just my mug. It's not just an old lady sitting in her bathrobe. That's not going to do it. Nobody's going to care. My headline might get a few people's attention, but what I really need is something that will just absolutely positively wow them and make them curious to say, okay, what the heck is this? I got to find out what's going on. Why is this lady in her bathroom? Why is she making a funny face or whatever? And we'll talk about those key things. Today, I'm just going to cover the thumbnail basic things that you can do really quickly and easily to spice up or pick your thumbnail. And then down the road during the 90 days, I'll share more in-depth trainings and more in-depth things and more in-depth strategies, maybe some templates. I've got templates for thumbnails, which I'm not using. Sorry, I admit it, but it just hasn't been a priority for me and all the other things that I do for my life and for my business. But now doing the 90-day challenge, get good at YouTube. So thumbnails are becoming a much bigger, more important thing for me. So one of the things I do that I've recently started doing, realizing that thumbnails are kind of important, is when I make a video, Facebook, for example, will suggest different pictures that you can choose from. So as I'm editing that video, I'll pick pretty much the most different or funniest looking face that I'm using, or the expression that I've got, to use as my thumbnail. Most people put the best looking one of them. I just pick whatever's the funniest or the most different, the most unique, or the wonky eyed or crooked smiled or stupid expression, because that is more likely to get attention than me just sitting there stone cold faced, right? So that is one thing you can do right now. You can start doing that right now. Hey, it's auto picking. You don't have time to create a thumbnail. Just go ahead and pick something that you're doing. And I don't do this, I forget to, but as I start my videos, when we know it's doing auto pictures of us, we want to, in the beginning, the first few seconds of the video, do expressions. So if we want a pensive, thoughtful look, or if we want to, like we're looking off into the distance or searching for something, we can do expressive things with our hands and our bodies, and props or tools. It's not a prop, I need it, it's a tool, to gain attention. And then we can use those snapshots, those pictures of us, if we're not shooting on a camera. I'm shooting on my cell phone most things, and then for this particular challenge, I'm shooting on my horrible quality laptop camera. So maybe during the challenge, I'll get my daughter to set up one of her cameras for me, because she's got good equipment. I just don't know how to use it, and then show me quickly how to use the basic functions of it, and I can do that, and I'll have access to more things. But the vast majority of people that are doing massive things in thumbnails are using Photoshop and tools like that I don't have. I will use Canva. Canva.com is a free tool, and I'll create my thumbnails on that. That's how I'm going to create it for today's. And then the other things that are important that you can use, again, if you don't want to do Canva, if you don't want to do anything, if you don't want to outsource it right now, that's fine, but just start thinking about these things today. So how do we make our thumbnails stand out and stop in the tracks? Number one, we want to have some kind of an expression or prop or something that would get people to say, well, what the heck is this about? Why am I curious about this? So a lot of the pictures that I'll select, you'll see my magnifying glass in. I try to not be looking down. I try to be looking at people. People want to know that you're looking at them and talking to them, not that you're looking down and reading your notes. And should I be looking down and reading my notes with my magnifying glass? Yes, I probably should be, but I'm mostly not. Mostly I'm just talking, because I think it's more important to be genuine and be yourself when you are on camera, once they have clicked on and are starting to watch your video, than it is to be reading a script and sounding like a robot. Hate that. People won't listen to you at all if you do that. So what else is important in a thumbnail? A good, interesting curiosity-based picture of you if you're the main speaker in the particular video, and then maybe a graphic or a font or a picture that you can import that continues to increase the curiosity. Actually, people that are really good at this and that are really using this to their advantage on any platform, including YouTube, are researching and planning out their actual thumbnails and what it's going to look like. And they have whole teams of people creating them before they even decide what their video is going to be about. Or they might have a topic and they're like, well, how can we make this curious and make a curious thumbnail? And then after they get the thumbnail that they love, they'll go ahead and they'll create the video. Then they'll tweak and test and play with the thumbnail. This is really advanced people that have, 20 million views plus or tens of millions of views and millions of subscribers. But that's who we learn from. The first thing we want to do is we want to go out, we want to research on YouTube or whatever platform you're using. Who are the people that we want to be like? What are they doing? Now, if they're not doing squat, and they don't use thumbnails, don't use that as your excuse to not use thumbnails. Use thumbnails to get the attention and be the leader in your field and industry. That's what this challenge is all about. It's you being the go-to person, the influencer. So look for color. What kind of colors? And what is your color? You want to be consistent and match with your brand and what it is, the emotion and the feeling that you're trying to create with you and your brand and your videos. So be consistent with your color. Pick a font and stick with it. Pick a big, bold font and almost no words on your thumbnail. The teachings that I've seen and the examples I've seen are 3 words or less are the ones that are getting all the views. So if you can't say it in 3 words or less, probably don't put text on it. And a lot of times it's the visual impression that the graphic or the picture makes, the thumbnail makes, that's going to stop people in their tracks. But you want to, as people see your videos in a feed, you want to be able to identify, oh, that's Pajama Grandma's videos. That's Sharon Horne-Ellstrom's videos. That's Heather's video. That's Diane's video. We want people to know as soon as they see our thumbnail scrolling by. And remember, a lot of times it's only about the size of a postage stamp, especially on cell phones. And for me, forget it. Forget about it. Part of why I've ignored and haven't paid attention to thumbnails is I am visually challenged. I've got totally wonky eyes. So I haven't made that a priority for me. Ignoring the fact that I am not my customers. I am not the one who pays me. All of my customers and the people I'm here to serve do pay huge attention to thumbnails. Thus, my assignment today, and your assignment as well, should you choose to accept it, is to create a thumbnail for your video today. Make your video about whatever you're going to make your video about for your audience, but create a really cool thumbnail in advance for it. And maybe it's just adding some text or a headline to it. Maybe it's, and I would say the text, the tips I've seen are the text that you share in your thumbnail should not be repeated in your headline. It's not like matching your title, your description, and your tags, which is a strategy we'll talk about a little bit down the road in a few days, because that's really powerful for search engine. Remember, YouTube's a big search engine optimization. But in your thumbnail, you want to use a big, bold font. Pick a font and stick with it. Pick a color scheme and stick with it. Pick big, bold colors that are going to stand out and represent you on your YouTube channel, right? And maybe they're a brighter version of what you do on your website and in other areas, but pick something that will stand out. Basic blues and reds and greens have been pretty much done to death. So look at what's going on in your industry, in the area that you want to be the leader in, and then look at other super successful leaders and see what they're doing for thumbnails and start to model that. Again, you want your look and feel to be consistent with you and your brand and what it is that you're trying to create, and be easily identifiable. Consistency is the thing you're going to hear across the board when it comes to creating your presence on social media and online and as an influencer. You need to be consistent. One of the reasons I joke about my Instagram is always going backwards. Well, it's because I am totally not consistent. I am like my closet. I am consistently chaotic. I am like a rainbow of fonts, styles, shapes, graphics, and most people can't handle that. I think unless you've got an ADHD brain or something, you look at my stuff and you're like, what the heck? Whereas, you'll go to some of the more successful Instagram platforms and they have all the same exact format throughout their entire Instagram. And it's a consistent look and feel. People are comfortable with that. Well, I'm all about making people feel uncomfortable so that they move in the direction they need to move to make their life awesome. And so as much as I know I should consistently pick a look and feel on my Instagram, I have chosen not to do that. Now down the road, I know I'll choose to do that, but Instagram isn't the platform I'm working on, at least not for the next 90 days. My 90-day push is YouTube. And so for YouTube, we are going to create an awesome thumbnail today. This is not going to be our ultimate be all and end all. I just want you to create a thumbnail today. And if you can incorporate any of these things, a one word or a curiosity block or a bright color or something, that's all you have to do. Just add one thing, and then we'll add another thing and another thing and another thing. Maybe you just add your branding information. That would be one thing. It's up to you. That's it. Understand that you only have a couple of seconds as people are scrolling by at the speed of light to get their attention, and a thumbnail on YouTube is the way to do that. And actually a thumbnail on any other video, but other platforms don't necessarily allow us the opportunity to pick a thumbnail that we can customize. All right, I will, of course, see you tomorrow. Bye.